Hello students, welcome to Legacy Academy. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about a recent war that has erupted in the Middle Eastern region between two adversaries, or what you can call as arch enemies, Israel and Iran. Now, Israel has preemptively has carried out a strike against the Iranian territory, because they have claimed that Iran in next few weeks could have taken a major step in developing nuclear weapons and such, and that is why Israel had a what you can call as highest risk if Iran develops such kind of nuclear weapon technology. That is why they had carried out a strike. And against that, Iran also has recently carried out a retaliatory strike by using missiles and drones, and even ballistic missiles were used, which Israel's Iron Dome were not able to intercept as per the recent report as such. So what do I see generally? This is a general trained, or what you can call as general policy that Israel has adopted, whether we're talking about Israel's fight against Hamas, Israel's fight against Hezbollah, or Israel's fight against Iran. What the common denominator you would see here, that Israel ensures that first of all, top commanders and leaders of these organizations, of these countries, are neutralized. So basically, Israeli strike have carried out or have targeted top military commanders as well as scientists who were involved in nuclear enrichment program of Iran. So let us try to understand that who are these military commanders, that those who have been targeted by Israeli strike as such. Now, if we try to look at the Israeli strikes on Iran, it is spread over various different regions from the map. If you look, for example, multiple strikes have been carried out on the capital city of Tehran itself, and it is believed that most of these top leaders and commanders, obviously, they will be living near the capital city or around the capital city, in the capital city. That is why multiple strikes have been carried out here. Apart from that, other area where Israel has targeted and has basically carried out a strike is Natanz. Natanz is the main uranium enrichment plant of Iran as such. And again, if you try to look at overall the number of attacks, we can see it has been concentrated in over 5 pockets here. For example, in the north, in central part, in the south central part, then Tehran capital, and Natanz, as we have discussed. Now, if you look at the area here, for example, Bonab is the region where you have research facility. That is where Israel has carried out a strike. Talk about Fardo, Natanz, these are the areas where you have uranium enrichment plant. If we talk about Sakhand is the region where you have uranium mine. Uranium conversion plant, that is very important, is in Isfahan. Now, Iran has stated that Israel has not attacked Isfahan as such. Plus Bandar Abbas, Bushehr, all these regions are there. They somehow are linked or connected to the Iran's nuclear enrichment program to make it a nuclear capable state as such. Now, before moving further, we have to understand overall command and control of the Iranian government. So, at the top, you have Iran's supreme leader, who is currently Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who is the successor of Ruhollah Khomeini. Now, to him is responsible President of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. He has also lost his life in one of the air traffic, what you can call as aircraft disasters, such where this what you can call as aircraft carrying him has crashed. And then both of them are responsible to Islamic Revolution. Both basically we can say Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is responsible and answerable to both the President of Iran as well as the Iran's supreme leader as such. So most of Israeli strike have targeted the commanders of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, also called as IRGC. Now, within IRGC, you can see there are multiple divisions. The most notable one is the Quds division, which is also called as Jerusalem Force Foreign Operation, whose main objective is to carry out operations in other countries, in the other states such as Israel and other allied countries of Israel, so that they do not present and pose any kind of threat to the Iran's sovereignty, security, and integrity as such. Then intelligence branch, you have again in IRGC, you have ground, naval, and air forces. They are separate from military as such. They are specifically part of IRGC. Iranian military is different. We have to understand this. Iranian military is a conventional military. They have their own what you can call as ground, naval, and air forces. Similarly, IRGC also have their own ground, naval, and air forces. IRGC again was conceptualized by the predecessor of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Ruhollah Khomeini, in the 1979 after the revolution of Iran. And the main purpose of IRGC, or main objective of IRGC, is to ensure that no one threatens the ideology on which Iran today is based upon, and it also ensures that there is no that such kind of situation does not evolve in Iran, where military carry out a coup against the government of Iran, whether it is the president or Iran's supreme leader. So basically, it controls the Iranian military in that manner. Also, it ensures the ideological principles of the Iran today, that is largely theocratic in nature, that is upheld, and also ensures that no other forces, outside forces, interfere in the Iran's internal affairs as such. Then you have the voluntary militia. Then you have Khatan this what we can call as Anbiya, which is the construction headquarters. Then we have other business unit as such. Now, the first target of the Israeli strike has been Major General Mohammad Bagheri, who is the chief of staff of Iran's armed forces. As I told you, Iran's military can be classified into two wings. One is IRGC, other is conventional military as such. So, Major General Mohammad Bagheri, he was a veteran of the Iran-Iraq war that was fought in the early 90s, and he was regarded as a top military strategist as well as intelligence expert as such. Not only that, he was appointed as the chief of staff in 2016. He had advanced academic degrees in engineering and political geography. So he, we can say, to some extent was having control or was exerting influence over both IRGC, that is Revolutionary Guard Corps, as well as the conventional military or military of Iran as such. Second target is General Hossein Salami, who was the commander-in-chief of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Now, he had played a central role in the foreign operations across the Middle Eastern region. For example, the foreign operations conducted in Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq. Now, we know that Iran had a lot of proxies operating in the Middle East. For example, as long as Bashar al-Assad was ruling Syria, he was doing the bidding of Iran's regime as well. Similarly, in Lebanon, you have what you can call as Hezbollah. They had very strong presence in Lebanon, so they are also being backed by Iran as such. And then in Iraq, you have several other parties, several other factions which are doing the bidding of Iran as such. Because Iraq also, you have large population of Shia Muslims as such. Now, he was known for his aggressive anti-Israel rhetoric and threats he has carried out toward United States several times. Salami's leadership also coincided with the heightened tensions following the US withdrawal from JCPOA, that is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also called as US-Iran Nuclear Deal, or more precisely US 5+1 P5+1 nuclear deal as such. Now, when in 2020, US drone has carried out a strike and has eliminated the commander of Quds forces under IRGC. I told you Quds forces is largely responsible for carrying out attack in or orchestrating some kind of operation on the foreign soil. So its head was Qasim Soleimani. Qasim Soleimani was killed by US drone, and after his killing, he has reiterated that if you harm a hair of an Iranian's head, Iranian military will give a crushing response. So this was General Salami, who has been eliminated by Israel's recent attacks. Third target of Israel was General Ghulam Ali Rashid, who was the deputy commander-in-chief of, again, Iran's armed forces as such. He is believed to be a key military strategist and head of Khatam al-Anbiya central headquarters. Khatam al-Anbiya, we just have discussed, this is a very important organization. If again look at the hierarchy of Iran's military command, basically Khatam al-Anbiya is a coordination agency. As I told you that in Iran you have IRGC, you have regular army, you have intelligence services, you have missile divisions that take control of the ballistic missiles and all the kind of missiles that Iran operates. So a kind of coordination is required if Iran is fighting a war or is countering any attack against its territory. So this coordination is largely done by Khatam al-Anbiya. So he was widely viewed as a mastermind behind Iran's regional deterrence strategies as well as drone warfare capabilities. For example, in the case of Ukraine-Russia war, also you would have seen in news terms such as Shahed drones. So Shahed drones are manufactured by Iran in a large number. It has been exported to Russia. So the entire Shahed drone manufacturing was under the command of General Ghulam Ali Rashid as such. Next target was Ali Samkhani, who was a former naval commander of Iran's navy. He was also a former secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. Supreme National Security Council is an advisory body which largely advises the supreme leader of Iran, again referring to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei as such. So he was also considered as very close aide to Ayatollah Khamenei. He played a significant role in Iran's nuclear diplomacy, heading back channel talks with the United States as such. Also, he died after being critically injured in a missile strike on his penthouse apartment in the northern Tehran. Now, interestingly, most of these commanders who have been killed were in Tehran, were basically located, their houses and their offices were located in Tehran, obviously because it is the seat of the government in Iran. But most interestingly, you also have to understand how Israel was able to neutralize all these commanders, top level, top ranking commanders in a single strike. You have to understand this has to be work of Mossad, Israel's what you can call as intelligence agency operating on a foreign soil as such. More precisely we can say external intelligence agency of Israel as such. So this all is not possible without Mossad's operation as such. Now again, if you take a look at airstrikes and explosion that is reported in Tehran, you have reported airstrikes as you can see across different regions of Tehran. This is the enlarged map of Tehran, and as you can see that most of these places where airstrikes have been carried out, it has targeted these top level commanders that we have discussed. And if you look at the northern Tehran, these two blue dots that you are seeing, not only Israel has targeted the armed commanders or the armed forces, we can say, but they also have targeted nuclear scientists. So two nuclear scientists were reportedly killed in the northern Tehran. One of them is Feridun Abbasi Dawani, who is considered as nuclear scientist and former chief of Iranian's nuclear energy or atomic energy. Abbasi was one of Iran's top nuclear physicists and a former head of the AEO, Atomic Energy Organization of Iran. And most interestingly, several times Israel and US have tried to assassinate him. The biggest assassination attempt against him was carried out in 2010, and he was key figure in Iran's nuclear weapons research as well. Second, Mohammad Mehdi Tehranchi, who is a physicist and nuclear advisor. He was an academic and physicist, was closely tied to Iran's nuclear program and reportedly advised on strategic technologies for uranium enrichment. So as I told you in the beginning of video, Israel has said that it has carried out preemptive strikes against Iran because there was a distinct possibility that Iran could develop nuclear weapons, and that is why you can see target here are not only the military commanders but also the scientists who were involved in the nuclear enrichment programs of Iran as such. Now see, you also have to understand, if you go back few years back, it is believed that US and Israel have launched a cyber warfare against Iran by launching Stuxnet virus you would have heard about. This Stuxnet virus was also largely aimed at Iran's nuclear enrichment facility. For example, the virus was able to take control of the computer programs, and due to this, centrifuges, which were largely used for nuclear enrichment, began to spin and they went out of control, and more than 1,000 centrifuges were destroyed by Stuxnet virus. This is also an example of how cyber attacks has carried out physical destruction or damage of certain infrastructure. So this is nothing but extension of the similar kind of operations, sabotage operations, but on a grander basis, more overt basis. For example, Stuxnet virus, when I talk about, Israel and US never accepted that they were behind this virus, but this is more of an overt operation. Now also we have to understand these killings come amid an escalating conflict between Iran and Israel, with Israel's military confirming the coordinated strike was meant to disrupt Iran's strategic and nuclear command as such. But also you have to understand from Israel's point of view, this is a logical step. Already Israel is surrounded by enemies from all the sides. For example, it has for many years fought a war against Hamas in Gaza. It has fought a war against Hezbollah from Syria and Lebanon. It has fought a war, a proxy war against Iran as such. Now obviously in last 2.5 years after the October 7, 2023 deadliest attack on Israel, we have seen Israel has downgraded and degraded the capabilities and capacities of both, whether it is Hamas or Hezbollah, again by targeting their top rank leaders, also by carrying out large-scale destructive strikes on them. So next in the line is Iran, which poses an existential threat to the state of Israel as accepted by Benjamin Netanyahu himself. So Iranian officials have both retaliation and the example of evidence of this already we are seeing in terms of the massive strike by ballistic missiles, drones and all. Regional tensions remain at a boiling point. That is something we have to agree at. So that is all about this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your flash friends, subscribe to the channel for more such content. Thank you very much.